TOV9 high school football game of the week between the Brooke Bruins and the Bellaire Big Reds is brought to you by Rich Gallardi Ford.
This is the Ohio Valley's best high school football coverage. The WTOV9 Game of the Week.
From Nelson Field in Bellaire, it's the WTOV9 High School Football Game of the Week. The Bellaire Big Reds and the Brooke Bruins. Hello again, everybody. George Kellis here along with Coach Ty Fleming. Bellaire going for its 37th consecutive regular season victory. The Bruins are also on a streak. They're going for 6 in a row, but it ain't what they had in mind.
No, definitely not. This is definitely uncharacteristic of a Brooke football team. But I was talking to Coach Bill here a little while ago on the field, George, and the fire's still in him. And I think we may see a Brooke football team today that's ready to play some ball against the Big Reds. Well, I know this. 2 years ago, they played a great game here, a season in which Brooke was not playing well then either, but Bellaire went on to a 10-0. It was a terrific game that was in doubt down to the final wire. Let me bring in this young man right here. This is Jeff Cooper. He is our partner in education today, and you'll be doing some sideline reporting for us today. You ready to rumble, pal?
I'm ready to rumble, as are the Brooke Bruins and the Bellaire Big Reds.
All right, we'll be back with the opening kickoff right after this. A beautiful venue here at Nelson Field on a perfect early autumn afternoon. The Brooke Bruins with a record, believe this or not, of 2 wins and 5 losses. And we have the Bellaire Big Reds who are looking to go 7-0. They have Wheeling Park, Columbus, Hartley, and Ferry still to go. So to keep that streak alive, beginning with this game, it gets tough and tougher. The return by Quin Campbell. Campbell is down at the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Bellaire Big Reds as we set the offensive starting unit. Here they are. Chris Lednik is the quarterback. The setbacks are Campbell and Kenny Roth. Tony Lekanudos, Drew Spencer, and Josh Johnson. Up front, Scott Martin, Jared Frizzi, Nick Sulek, Robby Williams, and Lee Fetters. 1st down, Bellaire. Lednik on a drop back, throws, has a man wide open at the 45, lost the football, recovered by the Brooke Bruins at their own 41-yard line. And just like that, Brooke has possession of the ball immediately after it looked like Bellaire was on a quick roll. Lekanudos made the catch and lost the ball.
Take a look at it here, George, on the replay. As you said, nice curl deep by Lekanudos. Great time by Lednik to put the ball on the money, but right there, just as he was putting away, the ball's pulled loose, and there's a mad scramble. The Brooke Bruins come up with the first break of the day.
Kirk Furioli is the guy who forced the fumble, and then the recovery by Matt Cross. 1st and 10. Brooke from its own 42-yard line. Joey Nichols on a 1st down carry gets ahead over the 45. Gain on the play of a solid 3 yards. Brooke offensively looks like this. Billy Hunter, Craig Sperlazza, Joey Nichols, the setbacks. Furioli, Morris, and Lewis round out the skill package. Up front, Truex, Rockhold, Haught, Jones, and Findling. 2nd down, 7. Nichols again looks for room, but he is whacked immediately, and that looks like Robby Williams.
Jerry Coach.
Bellaire defensively, Josh Johnson, Williams, Sechrest, Fetters, and Doyle in a 5-man front. Kochi and Taylor are the linebackers, and the secondary, Roth, Campbell, Hibbitts, and Justin Lagon. 3rd down and 6 for the Bruins. Hunter is back, throws, ball is incomplete. It looked like it was there.
Rob Morris battling back there deep with Drew Spencer, and the ball just popped out of his hands at the last second, George. The ball was put on the money on that time by Billy Hunter. We'll take a look at it here. Hunter has good
Lagon
time.
on the coverage right here, Ty.
Back to kick for the Bruins, number 10, Matt Cross.
Nice curl pattern, and the ball just popped out of his hands. Brooke's going to punt it.
Number 3, Quin Campbell.
Campbell back deep.
Matt Cross for the Bruins to put it into the air.
Drew Spencer along with Campbell. Off the side of the foot. It's going to bound down at the 30 and inside the 20. Good roll for the Bruins all the way back to about the 15-yard line, where Bellaire will put the ball in play 1st and 10 again. So the turnover does not necessarily hurt Bellaire in terms of the scoreboard, but field position is the concern for them at this point. Here are the Bruins defensively: Findling, Jones, Haught, and Rockhold. Truex, Sperlazza, and Sadler. Dick, Furioli, Cross, and Sachini. Pass is caught. That's Hibbitts. Hibbitts has a first down out across the 25 up near the 30-yard line.
One thing, George, right off the bat we're seeing is that the offensive line of Bellaire is giving him plenty of time back here. I mean, Chris Lednik brought back. He just looked and looked the field over until somebody finally slid into the open zone on the curl route there. And the Bruins are going to be in a long day if they don't start getting some pressure on Lednik early.
Bellaire first down at its own 29, no score, first quarter. That is Quin Campbell for a solid 5 yards, maybe 6. Matt Cross on the stop.
If the folks today, George, anytime they can, and if they see the Bellaire backfield, they got to take a look at the stance of Quin Campbell. A very unusual squatting position he's into as he's getting ready for that ball to be snapped back there.
2nd down and 4. Bellaire at its own 36-yard line. Lednik to throw. Almost intercepted. Good reaction by Furioli. Drew Spencer was the intended receiver, but Furioli read that one and almost had a pick for a touchdown.
He sure did. Right there was just nothing but a 5-yard curl, George, and he broke on the ball as Lednik left to go and was within an eyelash of going down that sideline for 6. 3rd and 4 now for the Big Reds. 9:21 remaining in the first quarter.
Plenty of time, but the ball is swatted as the arm came forward.
Number 67, Tim Jones, I believe, got an arm on Lednik's arm as he was trying to deliver that ball forward there, George, and knocked it harmlessly on the ground.
Jones, a 6'1", 234-pound senior.
Number 31.
Folks will see here again, George, there's plenty of time there back there to throw the football, but watch Jones just keep fighting and fighting right there and just put his fingertips on the elbow of Lednik to deflect the ball to the ground. Driscoll's punt.
It was a fair catch call by Furioli. First down. And the Brooke Bruins will start a little further back this time at their own 25-yard line. So field position becomes an element here in the first quarter. These two teams went toe-to-toe at it on this field 2 years ago with a controversial fourth quarter in which there were some penalty calls. Budrow went ballistic in that game. Thought that a couple of the fouls that were called against his team in the fourth quarter were questionable. There you go. 1st and 10. This is Nichols looking for running room, and as they've been doing all year, Bellaire gets a swarm of people around ball carriers. They are not big. They just play with a lot of heart and a lot of tenacity, and the one way to get ball carriers to the ground is to get a lot of people around them in a hurry. The one thing Bellaire doesn't get caught up doing a lot with this defense is one-on-one tackling back in the secondary. You're looking at what, 5'9", 165, Taylor at 5'9", 150. These are linebackers.
Middle linebackers. Option.
The pitch. Nichols again
Ball on
lost
the
the
ground.
football, and it's picked up by Bellaire.
Hibbitts.
Frankie Hibbitts, who's a bug loose on the rug out there, all over the place. One of those little quick guys. Believe me, that's hereditary.
Justin Lagon not getting up, George, on this play. We'll take a look at it right here. We'll see the Austrian coming down. There's the pitch out back deep. And as Nichols makes a move up the field here, we'll see the ball right there just being swiped out. Lagon's one made the hit, George. And he's up now, thank goodness.
Injury timeout. Lagon shaken up on the play. No score, 8:22 to go in the first period. Bellaire starts at the Brooke 39.
Kenny Roth.
Roth,
Nowhere.
nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Good job by Brooks' defensive front right there to wall that off.
Yes, Rockhold right there, the lead man there, George, with that pile up. Cory Rockhold, senior, 5'9", 211 right there, was the main man that hit him in hole, and then the rest of the white shirts just cleaned him up. Going to bring up a 2nd and 10 now for the Big Reds, just inside the 40-yard line of the Bruins.
One thing Bellaire has done effectively this year, despite their lack of size up front, is they have run the ball by design rather than by necessity or by deception. They have just lined up and run the ball against some teams maybe more effectively than they've had with some of their great teams. Not that this isn't a great team, but it's more a workman-like bunch. Not quite as talented as some of its predecessors, as Lednik gets ahead for 5.
Bring up 3rd and 5 for the Big Reds, George. And the position on the field here, really Coach Magistro would probably have 2 downs here to pick up this 5 yards near. We see Roth there in motion, going to be the lead man to give Lednik the outside containment break there. And there was good coverage by the Bruins, and he smartly pulled that ball down there. And instead of trying to battle for the extra yard, he just took his yardage and dove for the ground.
Lednik, a former tight end, is not afraid to take on tacklers. Here he is, and he throws wide open. First down, Bellaire at the Brooke 20.
Jason Preston on the receiving end of that ball right there, George, for the first down to the 20-yard line for the Big Reds. We'll take a look at it here. We'll see Lednik dropping back again with plenty of time. Just a deep curl pattern by Jason Preston to the left sideline. The ball's delivered on the money.
Ty, you loved the passing game when you coached at Shadyside, and this is a very well-conceived offense.
Oh, it sure is. Coach Magistro and his staff has spent many times in the off-season at some colleges, and they've just picked up some great ideas. Kenny Roth.
Roth will get about 6 down to the 15-yard line. It's just that they school these kids. The quarterbacks are schooled. They run a lot of timing patterns. It's not like you see with a lot of high school teams where the ball is just thrown to somebody who's open. In a lot of cases, the ball is thrown to an area, and the receiver is expected to be there, and usually he is.
As you say, nothing but a timing route. We watched Kenny Roth there as the Big Red offensive line and blocking backer just caved in the left-hand side for Roth to make it around the end. Going to bring up 2nd down and 4 for the Big Reds. Campbell.
Quin Campbell's
off here.
Good defense that time by the Bruins.
Number 8, Frank Sperlazza.
Sperlazza was on top there. George Muck, 64, the PA man is telling us Jeremy Sadler is one that wrapped him up low, and then Sperlazza cleaned him up high here. Take a look at it here. Nothing, just a fullback up through the middle there. Good hole, and all of a sudden, boom, the white shirt was there to take him down. Going to bring up 3rd down now and a long 3.
Correction, 3rd down and 3.
Ball at the 13-yard line. Bellaire with the first good scoring opportunity for either team.
Kenny Roth.
Roth has a first down and out of bounds. Looks like they've got him marked at about the 9. 1st and goal.
No, George. Yes, 9. Very good. Take a look at it right here. Motion man came off the wing right there. There he came back to the inside. Quin Campbell leading the way up there for Roth. Put a real good block on the outside back there and cleared the area for Roth to duck inside the 10-yard line for 1st and goal for the Big Reds. 5:16 remaining in the first half of the scoreless ball game.
Cool, breezy, pleasant Saturday afternoon at Nelson Field.
Beautiful football weather.
Lednik will lob it to the corner. Has a mismatch size-wise, but it's overthrown and incomplete. The intended receiver was Tony Lekanudos, one of those many rangy Bellaire receiver, 6'4", 195, gives the defense matchup problems.
Oh, he sure does right there. And again, Lednik with plenty of time putting the ball here just on a deep fade route to the corners. We'll see the ball landing right there on the end line of the field. And Lekanudos just could not make the move to the outside to get there on the field. The field's a little wet out there in Slow, George. The Big Reds had watered the field down because it was so hard Wednesday and turned it off. And here Thursday, the sprinklers come on by themselves. Kenny Roth.
Roth is cut down for no gain. And the Bruins playing with some physical command here on this stand inside the 10-yard line.
Take a look at it right here, George, at the Bruin defense rising to the occasion down here in the goal line situation. 2nd and goal, and right there you saw the white shirts not allowing him to get any freedom at all to cut through. So a big 3rd down play here with the Big Reds inside the 10-yard line. I'm sure Mr. Homer on the sideline of the Big Reds there is getting his leg loosened up because they don't put this one in the end zone.
Budrow and his gang really playing for a lot of pride here today.
Kenny Roth.
Roth works the left side. Roth is inside the 5-yard line. A decision needs to be made here as this will be marked at the 3. Be 4th down. They've got Justin Homer, who is one of the area's finest place kickers.
Right here, a little counter action inside there by Roth. Nice blocking there by big number 58 for the Big Reds, leading the way for him there, Robby Williams, and Roth has just stopped short of the 3-yard line, going to bring up 4th and goal. The Big Reds, George, have disdained the field goal and are going for it.
4th and goal from the 3 as Lednik steps under center. Hibbitts in motion.
Play action. Wide open. No.
Swatted out of there in a brilliant defensive play.
Sperlazza, George, dropped back out of there. He started to move up on Lednik as Lednik had the outside containment there, and he started to make a move up. And then he smartly jumped back onto that goal line and knocked the ball down for the Bruins.
I see 2 things that played into their decision to go for it there. Maybe the sharp angle left that they had all the way to the left hash mark on the placement influenced their decision to go for it. Also, I think they've got a lot of confidence in their defense, and you got to give Craig Sperlazza a lot of credit for getting back here and swatting
that ball. Did. He just got back here at the nick of time. George put that left hand up here and took the ball down. As you say, now the other thing I'm sure played into it is Coach Magistro feels that his offense can move the ball against the Bruins.
Got pretty good confidence, I would think, in his defensive unit, which, when called upon, has really stepped up this year. Short yardage on 1st down.
Sperlazza, George, is we're going to take a look at here in the replay. The fullback there just up the middle on a little power play, but the Big Reds were waiting on. There's number 28 coming to help clean him up in there. And I don't have a 28 on my roster, George, so we'll hold up on that name till we get a name for him.
There have been some numbers changes here. For example, Nichols, who has the football, or is that Hunter?
I believe it was Nichols.
Yep. Nichols wearing 30 today. He has worn 20 prior to this point in the season.
And talking with Coach Stoltz, the defensive coordinator of the Big Reds prior to the game, as we look at the instant replay right here, as Nichols on a power play off the left-hand side here. Sperlazza leading the way for him there. One thing Coach Stoltz mentioned, that they weren't quite sure the number, but they knew the body backer to look for. Option.
Good pursuit by the Bellaire defense. The ball's on the ground. Is this a fumble? It is. And it's recovered by Robby Williams at the 13-yard line. Now we're getting penalty markers all over the football field.
It's going to be an unsportsmanlike penalty here against the Bruins as we take a look here at the option coming down. There's Hunter pitching the ball back deep. Never did quite see when the ball came out there, but the Big Reds are scrambling for it, and as the offensive team for the Bruins was leaving the field, the officials threw a flag. So evidently there was a statement made that the Stripes did not agree with.
Actually, they called a personal foul, so somebody whacked somebody, I presume.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Big Reds at the Bruins 7-yard line.
All the way to the 7 it comes. 1st down.
Big Reds are back in business, George. 1st and goal.
Roth bounces to the outside, and he'll be near the goal line.
brought down by number 67.
We'll take a look here, George. We'll see the ball being stripped away by the Big Reds here as just could not quite make out that Big Red number, but he definitely went for the ball right there and stripped the ball loose from him right there. You see him chasing it.
That's
Looks
a
like
good
Quin
call,
Campbell.
too. Yeah, that's a good call because Quin Campbell did strip that ball out of there. And that's a good call, too, because he clearly was not down on the ground. They had him mugged and took the ball out of there.
Kenny Roth up the middle and absorbed.
Oh, he is turned back rudely.
Like big number 82 for the Bruins, Jeff Hastings stepped up there, 6'3", 235-pound senior, stepped in there for the Bruins and kept the Big Reds out of the end zone. We take a replay right here of Kenny Roth trying to follow Quin Campbell up the middle there, and the Bruins were waiting on him. 3rd and goal from inside the 1.
Is there anything that confounds the Bellaire coaching staff any more than these short yardage situations?
Year in, year out, George.
Roth, the
Roth.
3rd try.
In. As we have an electric air horn connected to a battery right directly in front of us.
And I think you ought to be able to hear that. That means that was a touchdown, Bellaire.
I think so.
They lead 6-0.
1:10 remaining in the first quarter. The Big Reds punch on the first score of the day, George.
That horn will get your attention.
Oh, real quick. Justin Homer on for the kick out of the hold of Frankie Hibbitts. Up and good.
Bellaire, 7. Brooke, nothing. 1:10 to go in the first quarter. George Kellis, Ty Fleming.
We'll take a look here at the replay here of Kenny Roth. And again, Quin Campbell leading the way for him up there. Good job by the offensive line of the Big Reds. Big number 76 up there. Lee Fetters opened the hole for Kenny Roth to get into. We take a look at the sideline there as Coach Magistro doing some quick coaching.
We have Jeff Cooper on the sidelines with an interview. Jeff?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Aaron Sisk, the Brooke band director. And I know the Bruins may not be, the football team may not be as top-notch as years past, but how about the band? They sure look good this year.
The band's doing great. We've had a standing ovation up in Pittsburgh, and at Morgantown, the band did extremely well against 15 other bands. We've been playing really great, and we hope to see you at the last game down at Brooke or at one of the 3 Christmas parades we're doing this November.
All right, thanks a lot.
Homer to kick off with 1:10 to go in the first quarter. Bellaire on top 7-0.
Bruins have Cliff Sachini and Brian Dick back deep inside the 5-yard line waiting the kick.
Homer gets the foot into it.
Sachini.
Taken at the 10-yard line by Sachini.
Oh! Wow!
A savage hit by 52 of the Bellaire Big Reds, Jake Doyle.
Ooh, he just welcomed him to Bellaire.
Oh, that is whiplash.
Tell you what, George, right now know that the Bruins, with 1:05 remaining in the second quarter, need desperately to get some offense going here. They just have not been able to find a crease in that line of the Big Reds to pick up any yardage at all, and they need to keep their offense on the field to give their defense a breather out there and get some field position going here for them.
Hunter turns and dumps it away.
Very smartly dumped it away because back there on the backside screen, they were going to Josh Johnson, and Jeremy Kochi was back there waiting on the screen to come to him, and Hunter smartly threw the ball over their heads for an incomplete pass.
Budrow with that confounded look on his face. It looks as if Bellaire has 14 guys out there right now on defense. They have everything diagnosed, and Brooke is having difficulties with the run or the pass, and it seems like there's 3 Big Reds around the football wherever the ball is. Hunter again has some time, throws, and it's batted around. Drew Spencer was there, and also 32 of the Brooke Bruins, Robby Morris.
Robby Morris became the defensive back here as Drew Spencer was just dropping back and just very easily playing the football. And you'll see the ball go right into his hands. And at the last second, you'll see the ball being knocked away by the Brooke defender. 53 seconds, George, still remaining in the first quarter for the Bruins. 3rd and 10.
An undesirable down and distance right here for the Bruins, trailing 7-0. Ball at the Brooke 24. Hunter, the option pitch, Nichols. Nichols has some room out across the 30, and he's close. We'll see where they mark the football.
About a yard and a half short, George, the way it looks from up here at the angle. Take a look right here at the option. It looked like he was going to have a nice move to get to the outside. And all of a sudden, as Joe Nichols made the move from the outside there, right there, coming up, could not quite pick up that number from the Big Red, but he cut him down, and we're going to have a measurement, George, I believe, just for the placement of the ball.
Well, you're 2 and 5. If this is short, what do you do if you're Bud Red?
Punt the ball. 31 seconds remaining in the first quarter. You're inside your own 35-yard line. Punt it away and live to fight again. They're going to be probably 5-6 inches short. And, well, George, that's why I'm sitting up here in the box.
I see Hunter down there.
Coach
I think the problem when you're playing Bellaire is anytime you turn the ball over to their offense, you're playing with fire. So you might, anytime you've got the ball, you've got the ball. Maybe 4th and about half a foot is a better concept than giving the ball over. I think they got the first down.
They definitely have the first down.
35-yard line.
Nice job by the interior people of the Bruins to give some yardage there, some opening for the quarterback to sneak up through there for the first down. We'll take a look in the replay at Billy Hunter taking a snap and just taking a step to the right-hand side and diving for the first down across the 35.
I like that. You know, if you're 5-2 right now and you're trying to get in the playoffs or something, I could see punting the football, but the way they've been going, they just got to do something positive, get some first downs here.
Like the Bruins, George, are going to wait till the clock winds down.
That is the end of the first quarter. Your score, Bellaire 7, Brooke nothing. Back with second quarter action right after these messages.
Students at Brooke High School. This week we salute Chris Sakui, National Honor Society, Who's Who, Track. Brian Moore, Varsity Football, Varsity Tennis, National Honor Society. Kristen Hoff, Madrigal Choir, Spring Musical, Swim Team. Zack McGill, National Honor Society, Cultural Arts, Young Writers. Heather McAbee, National Honor Society, French Club, Academic Institute. WTOV9 salutes all the students at Brooke High School.
Brooke will have the ball at its own 35-yard line as we get to start the second quarter here. WTOV9 high school football game of the week. It's just hard to imagine that for some teams this is their 8th football game. And we're getting toward the end of this thing, although I'll tell you what, it's a pretty pleasant day out here. At least the weather hasn't turned foul on us just yet.
Well, George, we're getting ready to go here, but when we have a little bit of dead time here, I want to hear your comments on Mr. House.
Okay. Good yardage on first down, and that's what the Bruins are looking for. Sachini gets 5 to the 41. I was impressed with J.R. House. His field generalship was very impressive. His command of taking what a defense gives him was something that really impressed me. It's obvious he's a very polished, savvy, and intelligent kid. I don't think he's as big as what he's listed in the program. They got him listed anywhere from 6'1" to 6'3", and I'd say it's probably a shade over 6 feet, if that. That would be the only questionable thing about him. You know, coaches sometimes try to stretch guys. Did you ever stretch a guy, or did you list their actual dimensions?
A lot of stretching.
3rd down, 3. Coming up.
We always let the players lift their own weight.
Nice job by Sperlazza, who works his way through the Bellaire defense and into Bellaire territory to the 46.
Great delay action there, as you said, by Sperlazza. As he takes the move up the middle there, and then the hole was blocked. He just made a quick stop and then came off the blocker's hind end. Take a look at it right here up the middle, number 8 for the Bruins right there. He made a nice move right there, got away from, I believe that was Robbie Williams of the Big Red, and picked up the first down inside of the Big Red territory down to the 46-yard line.
Bellaire ran a lot of the, or rather Brooke ran a lot of the wishbone. We'll get back to that in a second as Nichols is scooting. Nichols. Yeah, they ran a lot of wishbone back in the early days of Bud Billiard's tenure. And here they are. Last week, they ran very effectively in the second half against Wheeling Park, put up a lot of rushing yards against Park after a slow start. Here again today, they start out running a lot of I-back and things like that. Now all of a sudden they've turned this thing back into the bone, and it's a little bit of a change of pace for a defense.
And one thing that the Brooke Bruins have always done, George, you know yourself, that in a key situations, they love the auction game. Ball on the ground.
Ball on the ground, that's
right. He comes down, he got a man open.
Just long.
Number 81,
the intended receiver.
And we even hear the PA man hesitating, George, because again, this is a number that we do not have in the program. Sorry, Bruin fans.
Pass intended for number 81.
Take a look at right here. As the ball was dropped by Hunters, he come out from underneath here, but he had enough composure to pick it up there, and he did have a man that was behind the Lagon in the end zone, but just overthrown. Sperlazza, first option into that bone, George.
I like the way Brooke has responded to what had transpired throughout most of the first quarter. They couldn't move the football. Now they're getting 6 yards on a first down play. They were completely shut down, and all of a sudden now they have gotten the oars back in the water on offense.
They sure have. This is what they definitely needed down here now with 9:38 remaining in the second quarter. They just had to move the ball to get themselves some confidence offensively, and give credit to that offensive line up here. They're opening some holes now for the Bruins to get through.
Third down and a long 4 at the 13-yard line, and Sperlazza this time meets some pretty good opposition.
Number 45.
Fourth and a foot. Ball's going to be placed right there on the 10-yard line. They got to go just almost to the 9-yard line there for the first down, George. It's a big play now for the Bruins here on fourth and, they're calling it 4th and 2. That's a awful short 2.
They also are going to discuss their strategy.
Good call. No use being in a hurry right now in this key situation of the ball game in the first half here to make a call that could backfire on you.
Brooke gets in the end zone right here, then you got a potential for a real interesting football game.
Yes, if any of the Big Red fans came today thinking they weren't going to see a football game, has forgotten the tradition of Brooke football. They're going to come out, George, they're going to line up, and they're going to go at you, and they're going to play with all kind of intensity from that opening kickoff to the very end of the ball game.
Later on, we have the following here on WTOV 9. Honeymoon in Vegas at 1:30. And tonight, Sports Sunday with Don Sloan. And he'll have all sorts of things for you, including our coverage of the Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens.
Smell that?
What are they cooking?
Well, I don't know, but it sure smells good. I know where you're headed. You're going up on Union Street.
I got to have my pasta, man.
You got to have the pasta.
I guess they cook ribs and chicken somewhere here at the...
right here at the Eagles, right here behind Nelson Field. And they've just started the...
You guys down in a truck, do you deliver? Hunter to the 5-yard line has the first down. Good job by Brooke to sustain this drive.
Big Red Robbie Williams down on the ground there, George. We take a look at the 4th and short yardage there by the Bruins. Option game, and Hunter just come down that line of scrimmage and saw the crease, and right there he goes for it, and just barely tripped up as he dives ahead to put the ball on the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Bruins. We're going to take a look back here, George, now at the pit. We'll see the members of the Eagles back here getting it ready to go, and you can see the smoke coming out of there with the wind blowing directly toward us. George, you may be making a halftime run here to the concession stand for us.
Now, let me ask you this. What do? Just toss some, like, chickens and ribs and stuff on there? Man, that's got to be a good deal.
Oh, boy, I tell you what.
Have you done that gig before?
Oh, yes. You sit here in the open stadium, George, like that, and you smell that for about 2 hours. Where else are you going to head for?
I got you. We've got a shaken up Bellaire Big Red on the football field.
George, the crowd is really a sparse crowd for the Bellaire Big Reds and the Brooke Bruins to be playing here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Evidently, some people might have decided to take this beautiful day, finish up some yard work, get ready for the winter time, but they're sure going to be missing a fine ball game.
Friday night, 11:45. You can see the replay. Martins Ferry going in undefeated at 7-0. Wellsville at 6-1. That ought to keep them entertained.
Oh, yes. Definitely be a good ball game up there at the Tiger Stadium at Wellsville. The Ferry Riders...
They've scored a few points here lately.
Just a couple, George, you know, and Coach Bruni, and talking with him earlier before the game here, you know, as I said to him, I kind of apologized to him because I knew the situation he was in. That's one of the most uncomfortable positions there is to be in on that sideline whenever you cannot stop scoring.
Their last 3 games, they're averaging 70. 260 pluses and a 92.
The Bruins, Sperlazza down inside the 2.
So Brooke just kind of strapping it up and playing good old-fashioned smash mouth football right here with the smaller interior front people of the Bellaire Big Reds. It'll be 2nd down goal.
Right here, George, out of that double tight wishbone look you're talking about. Nothing more than just power of football inside for the tackle. There was a lead back leading up through there and double team down, and 2nd and goal. And like the Bruins are going to stay in with the person who's brought them to the dance.
The bone has been good to him. The option, Hunter,
he's in,
is cut down at the goal line, but it's a touchdown. Billy Hunter.
Great drive put together by the Bruins there to bring them back into the ball game, George. That's what they needed. That's really, this drive here is the first time they've moved the ball all day. As we take a look at it right here, as we'll see Hunter coming down the line on the option. He knew where he had to get to, so he just dove into the end zone for the 6. Here's another look at it, looking right in the eyes. He's coming down that line. Saw number 8 there, Drew Spencer, coming in, trying to hit him low, but Hunter went up and over into the zone.
Uh-oh, Sperlazza moving a little bit early, but nothing was called. The place kicker looked like he was leaning. It's good. Your score. Brooke 7, Bellaire 7. We'll be right back.
WTOV9 is proud to salute outstanding students at Bellaire High School. This week we salute Cory Bizak, football, homecoming king candidate, 6th grade camp counselor. Lindsay Mendelson, student council, principal's list, red line. Matt Materkowski, football, basketball, student council. Matt Sherwood, varsity football, varsity basketball, honor roll. Jessica Pramick, varsity basketball, student council, honor roll. WTOV9 salutes all the students at Bellaire High School.
There's Billy Hunter on the Bruins sideline. You know, one reason why you can never underestimate Brooke, we talked about the tradition. You know the coach will never let him go in the tank. I think people look at this thing and they say, well, Brooke's 2-5. They can't be very good. Then you start to study that schedule a little bit, and you start to find, you know, Zanesville and Mount Lebanon, Capital. I mean, one after another. It's Murderers Row. They don't play any stiffs.
Wow, what a leg.
And it'll be brought back out to the 20-yard line.
Quin Campbell taking that ball there, George, 3 yards deep in the end zone from Matt Cross. He really put the foot to it there, and he, of course, had the wind in his back, which made it helpful.
So Bellaire now in a 7-7 ball game will start at its own 20. The other thing you have to factor in when you're playing against Brooke is, you know, Bellaire is a Division IV sized football team, and Brooke has just in the last couple of years come down from Division I in Ohio standards to a very big Division II. So you're playing a program that has a great pedigree for football. That's a pretty tough step up in class anytime you go up against them. Now, Bellaire's had great success in terms of wins and losses, but some of the games, even when Brooke's down, are going to be competitive because it's just the nature of the beast when you're playing a bigger guy.
And the same thing's going to occur next week for the Big Reds. They go against Park.
Exactly. Actually, in the series between Park and Bellaire that ended in the late 1980s, Park did pretty well in that series, as you would expect from a great big school like that. That's first down right there, Drew Spencer.
Drew Spencer, the Brooke Bruins has done some shifting on the first down there, George. One of their defensive linemen stepped in the zone for an offside, giving the Big Reds the 1st and 5 right there. Just a quick hitch screen outside to Spencer, and he picked up the first down across the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Big Reds, 7:15 counting in the second quarter.
There's John Magistro. Very serious and stern look about him here this afternoon. Lednik slings it, incomplete. And normally sure-handed Tony, younger bro.
Take a look at it here, George, and again, we're going to see Lednik with plenty of time there. And you're also going to see Lekanudos right here coming into the picture on the curl right there. Drove the man deep and came back to the ball. And just might have come back a little too far. The ball was high and just let it slip through his hands.
2nd down 10, Bellaire from its own 31-yard line, a 7-7 football game.
Kenny Roth.
Roth, good job. He's got a first down out across the 40. The ball's
loose
on the ground, but they're rolling him down at the 41.
Here's some grumbling in front of us from some of the green wearing people. Take a look right here at Kenny Roth on the misdirection play. Just going to bounce to the outside here, and then made the move up the seam right there. And
He's
right
down.
there, the ball came out on the contact with the ground. 1st and 10 for the Big Reds from their own 41.
7:15 on a turning clock. Second quarter of 7-7 football game.
Quin Campbell.
Campbell is in trouble. Sperlazza. That's Craig Sperlazza. Ryan does the place kicking. Both are juniors.
Here, Georges on a delayed draw. As Lednik went by, he slipped the ball into the belly there of Quin Campbell, but he had no place to go. Again, there's our mysterious number 81 for the Bruins coming in to make the hit. George, if we had our binoculars here, we could pick up that name on the back of the jersey, but I know your eyesight, and
forget it.
And Lewis, we're being told, is the name coming from downstairs. That would probably be Bobby Lewis, number 87 in the program.
Lednik
on a great
throws,
play.
Incomplete, intended for Quin Campbell. Well defended, too, by the Bruins.
Great play action there, George. We had most of the Bruins coming to this side here with the play action fake, and Lednik rolled to the outside there and just overthrew the ball on 2nd and 11. We're going to bring up now 3rd and 11 for the Big Reds from their own 40-yard line. 6:16 remaining in the second quarter. This tied game, 7-7. Bruins would love to hold here, George, and get the ball back.
Lednik throws a quail. It's caught, however, and this may be a first down.
Eric Driscoll.
Driscoll, a senior, caught an ugly pass from Chris Lednik that time.
Yes, Lednik had a hard time there, George, stepping into the ball here. If we're going to see it right here as he drops back, you're going to see the 2 white shirts coming on him with pressure there, and just as he's going to make the step, he really didn't get to follow through with his arm there. The arm kind of stayed up in the air, and they made that ball kind of a quail action up in there, but it's still first down for the Big Reds inside the Bruin territory.
Good awareness by Driscoll to find the first down marker and get ahead of it on the far side before he stepped out of bounds. That's Kenny Roth. Ball loose. They're indicating that it's Bellaire's football. Roth lost the football after a gain of 6. However, it belongs to Bellaire as we get another glimpse.
Kenny Roth in the lead draw with Quin Campbell leading the way for him right here. Right there, you'll see the hand coming in there, knocking the ball loose, but Kenny had the whereabouts to find that ball back on the ground there, keeping it in Big Red's hands.
Reds at the Brooke 43.
Play action.
That didn't fool the Bruin lineman, and the pass is short. Lednik trying to run left, and Quin Campbell was the intended receiver down at the 30-yard line, but he just couldn't get enough on that.
No, he couldn't right here. Nice play action here by Lednik as he comes rolling out here, George. It just looks like as he got his shoulders turned forward to throw, he lost control of the football. Just no zip on it at all, as he did have a man wide open there.
Uncharacteristic of Lednik, who's thrown a couple of dead ducks on this drive, but the drive is alive. 3rd down and 4. Lednik
Quick
throws. Spencer, incomplete. And you rarely see the Bellaire passing game function with so many flies in the ointment than what we've seen here in the first half. If the ball is thrown on the money, somebody's not catching it today, and if somebody's open, it's not getting there. And Spencer, frankly, will be the first one to tell you, I should have had that ball.
Yes, he did, but George, if you saw, just as that ball was hitting his hands, you saw the head turn to look up the field. And anytime you don't look at the ball in your hands, that's normally going to be the result.
So Bellaire will have to punt. Fair catch. Oh, my goodness. That one will be marked off.
Dusty LaRoche there was fighting off the block, George, and had not picked up the ball or the receiver on that punt and just ran smack into the Bruin.
Furioli, who had called for the fair catch, victimized by that play, which will be receiver interference on the return attempt after the fair catch call. So there'll be a mark off, and Brooke will get out of the hole a little bit here. They would have been back around the 11-yard line. 7-7 football game with 5:09 to play in the first half. And as I recall that game here 2 years ago, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was tied something like 7-7 in the second half at one point there. So give Brooke a lot of credit. They haven't quit on this season. They want to salvage something.
Ball going to come back to the line of scrimmage, George, for the fair catch interference here, and the penalty will go against the Big Reds from the line of scrimmage, and they'll re-kick it.
Penalties, interference with a fair catch.
That's 15 yards from the line of scrimmage, or they could decline it and taken the ball at the spot of the contact, which was there, on about the 10-yard line, so they definitely had to take the penalty to back them up here.
I'm curious as to why they don't allow for the fair catch from the point at which the foul occurred and then mark 15 yards off and mark it up to the 26-yard line. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, that's...
Of course, Brooke figures to get better field position than that out of this, barring something unforeseen. Nice punt. A nice high one. Chases a deep man back inside the 15. They may not get better field position at all. Now they're okay, momentarily. Well, guess what? After all is said and done, they get the ball at the 15-yard line, or somewhere thereabouts.
Tell you what, an awful long way to run right there to pick up in yards as we look at Sachini here taking the ball and just...
And if they get him there, it's a 5-yard line misery.
And luckily he brought the ball out there, George, to about the 17-yard line for the Bruins, but they'll take over with 4:53 remaining in the second quarter of this 7-7 ball game. Budger was holding his breath on the sideline there for that speed to kick in to get around the bend.
The Brew Crew out of the wishbone. A second man through over the left side is Nichols. And Nichols up to the 20. 33-yard line.
Looks like the Bruin offense, George, has found something that works here, and that's that double tight wishbone look. Right there was the first we really seen the belly action out of that play as they fake the ball inside to the fullback, give it to the second man through. As you said, picked up 6 yards, 2nd and 4.
In order to beat Bellaire, you have to possess the football.
First man through.
Sperlazza to the 28. We're down to the sidelines now, and Jeff Cooper has the Bruin cheerleaders.
Hi, I'm here with the Brooke High cheerleaders to do a real quick cheer for us. Go, ladies.
Let's go, Brooke! 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 Let's go!
All right, thank you. Back to you guys.
Well, that group of beautiful young ladies still having fun in the 1998 football campaign. First down,
play action.
Brooke. Hunter looking, throws. Well defended. There were 2 medium-range receivers, Jeff Hastings and Bobby Lewis, but there were about 5 defenders back there, and it was thrown over everybody's head.
If we take a look out of here, George, you're going to see that number 81, Bobby Lewis, was breaking open. Good play action inside by Hunter. As he steps back now, he's waiting as he saw Lewis going to break open, and he throws it to him, and there's a collision. You see number 81 in the white jersey there on the ground, and the Bruins sideline want to know why there was no call on that play there for an interference.
2nd down and 10. Option. Sachini shoved out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down. That will make it 3rd down and 5.
3rd and 5 is a good call, George. Good play, though, on first down by the Bruins staff. They've been pounding the ball on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down. All of a sudden, they come on that 1st down. Great time for a play-action pass, and it was there for him. It just didn't work out for him. Big Red's going to try to hold, get the ball back with 3:46 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Option left.
Hunter down at the 36. So that'll be short of the 1st down, and the Bruins invariably are going to have to bring the punt team out.
Off to the left-hand side, George, and as he made the move to the inside there, their pursuit from the Big Reds backside was coming at him.
Good discipline. Good discipline. Josh Johnson turned Hunter the right way so that the other Big Reds could come in to make the play. 4th down and 3. Ball at the 36-yard line.
Campbell and Spencer back deep for the Big Reds have received the punt here from Matt Cross. Wind at his back.
3:05 to go in the half, so that's enough time for Bellaire to generate something.
Oh, that's just eternity for them.
The kick is a line drive to Spencer. Spencer is down. And then there's a flag.
Going to go against the Big Reds, George.
There is a flag on the play.
Well, let's see exactly what transpired there.
Frankie Hibbitts there for the Big Reds, George. The wingman was trying to block the split man for the Bruins, and he just could not get the position there to put the block on him. As you see the ball being fielded by the Big Red, and just as contact is made, there come number 12 from the behind to back them up 15 yards from that spot. It's going to take the ball down inside the 20-yard line to the 16-yard line for the Big Reds. 2:50 to go, which, as we said earlier, George, is plenty of time for the Big Red offense. And as you mentioned earlier, they really work better from this spot on the field than they do from inside the 10-yard line.
They also have to be careful, though, after the mark-off back to the 15. Now you're down here where you don't want to make a mistake and turn the ball over to the Bruins, which is your biggest concern.
The Big Red offense is still going to just keep on ticking, George, no matter what.
Roth with a tremendous run and a 1st down. Was that Quin Campbell?
Quin Campbell there on the little flare pass, George, from Lednik. As he looked down the field, no one there. He came back to his checkoff man, Quin Campbell, on the flare to the right-hand sideline, and he would not be denied as he crossed the 30-yard line for the first. 2:35 and moving. The Reds are up ready to go. The Bruins are still in the huddle.
Brooke had 2 guys, and he knifed between them. Lednik is back. Lednik is mugged.
big number 65, Mike Findling.
Well, they've got some big bodies. Findling at 6'1", 262. And thanks to our friends at Kroger Food and Drug, every time we have a sack, Kroger donates $50 to the OVAC. Let's get another glimpse of that. Lednik, you can see Findling just manhandles the offensive lineman on the play, and on the short end of the stick right there was Joe Nolan.
6'1", 262 for the Bruins. And the flag is out as number 31 for the Bruins there had a slight hand in the back of the Big Red receiver.
Now you see Budrow schooling his man down here. So he, I wish you could see this. Budrow's actually out on the field frisking his defensive back so as to show him how not to frisk the receiver. That's what, you know, a guy loves coaching.
Oh, you coach anytime you get a chance to coach, George, and Coach Bellaire exemplifies that right there. With
Remember, a guy was born to be a coach. I mean, the guy loves just all the nuts and bolts of this thing.
12 months out of the year.
The inside handoff is quickly wrapped up. Roth. The clock now a factor, under a minute and a half showing. Bellaire still in its own territory at the 39-yard line, so they'll need a big play or two if they're going to get into scoring range. Lednik back. Ball thrown, caught, but there's a flag down, hold everything. Lekanudos down at the Brooke 44-yard line, but I think this is coming back.
And George, I think we're going to find some movement.
Illegal procedure. That'll only cost Bellaire about 25 yards.
Take a look at it here, George. A nice out move here by Tony Lekanudos, and Lednik puts the ball right on the money for him. You just saw the red jersey go by your screen there, and that was Lekanudos driving the defender deep down the field before he made his out move. But the Big Red offense coming up here trying to get the ball moving too quick. One man just did not get set and hold for that full second.
John Magistro at halftime has to be downright upset because in the second half, their play has overall, in terms of fundamentals, just disintegrated. Just too many mistakes. Drop passes.
Fake draw.
Here is Lednik as he guns it down the field. The 15, the 10, and down to the 8-yard line. What a play fake by Lednik, who sold that. Oh, my goodness, what a sales job he did.
Yes, and George, as Jason Preston just ran there, the Brooke defenders realized what was going on there. I just don't think they thought that the ball would go that deep. Nice play action. Hit the ball on his hip well right there, and he was waiting definitely for Preston to make the post move, and you see the ball right there as he just ran by the Bruin defenders, and he's pulled down inside the 10-yard line. Going to be first and goal for the Big Reds from the 9-yard line with 55 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
That ball was in the air nearly 40 yards against the wind. We'll see what happens when we return. 55 seconds to go in the half. We're tied at 7. Ty, you said it. That could be a backbreaker for the Brooke Bruins. It looks like they got matters in hand. Could get out of this 7-7 at the end of a half. Bellaire's play has not been as crisp here in the second quarter. What a sensational play fake on that last play by Lednik, though. He looked like Boomer Esiason the way he used to sell that play fake.
Exactly.
Lednik lobs, has the tall guy back there. Good coverage. Lekanudos again with that 6'4" frame.
Furioli
the defensive play by Furioli, who is a terrific football player.
Furioli at 5'9", 143. She said going up against the 6'4" Big Red receiver here. Now is nothing more than a fade pattern, trying to take advantage of his height, and Furioli just played the ball very, very well. Knock it down. 51 ticks remaining, George.
Perfect timing by Furioli, who gives 7 inches away there to Lekanudos. Second and goal.
Lednik back, man
Lednik
wide open, Roth.
And again, Kenny Roth. This time, I don't know that Roth can be faulted, but you evaluate that play for
But George, right here, as Roth's coming out of the backfield here, and just look again like Kenny, the ball was a little bit low there, he was trying to make his turn. Watch his body try to go up the field just a little bit too quick. See the momentum of his body going up the field instead of going sideways, taking the ball into him, and he realized where he's out on the field and was trying to get across the goal line.
Yeah, by the same token, Chris could have delivered that ball just a little upstairs, and Roth probably would have been able to make that catch.
Back again,
Third
crossing
down.
patterns.
Incomplete.
Great defense by the Bruins.
Sachini on the defensive effort. The
Sachini.
intended receiver on the play, Frankie Hibbitts.
Frankie Hibbitts here in a crossing pattern, George. They took the two outside receivers and brought them across the middle and tried to bring Hibbitts underneath it here, and Sachini just stayed home and went through the receiver and knocked the ball down as the Big Reds, with 39 ticks remaining before half, are going to go for 3.
And Justin Homer, certainly a guy capable of providing them with that 3, but he's got a very sharp angle right from the hash mark. And the placement will be at the 15, which makes it a 25-yard field goal into a slight breeze.
And the Big Reds there called timeout there. Coach Miller, the kicking coach for the Big Reds over there, has the people lined up over there, and he's talking to everybody along with Coach Magistro to make sure they're ready. Of course, Mr. Homer's not in here, coming from the famous line of kickers, Marquis and the Homers that lived up on Sand Hill there outside of Bellaire with their own goalposts in their yard out there, George. He's grown up kicking a football many, many times.
Is that right?
Oh, yes.
That part of it I did not know. 39 seconds to go in the half. Brooke 7, Bellaire 7. The Reds with an opportunity on a 25-yard field goal attempt could put them in the lead.
His father, you recall his dad kicking it at OU.
Why, I've talked to his dad many times, but I was not aware that
he kicked
his
at OU.
Dad's personal experience, tell you the truth. I know this kid here's a good one.
Timeout now. Wait a minute. The Bruins are going to call timeout. George, we might get this kickoff today.
We might. Now, what would be the mindset here for Brooke? Are they trying to ice the kicker?
Just going to ice him a little bit there and make sure that they know exactly what they're doing out there defensively, so that they don't get caught up inside there in case the Big Reds would go for a fake here. They just want to remind all their people. Of course, they just had him over here to do that, but with 39 ticks remaining to go and you got some timeouts, why not try to ice him a little bit?
Well, Budrow is a special teams guru, and so if there is a block possibility or any way that they can put pressure on Homer, I'm sure they will do that. Obviously, he's telling his people, don't do something silly like
rough the kicker.
Rough the kicker and get yourself a new set of downs for the opposition right here. I think Bellaire right now would like to get this field goal and get out 10-7 and try to add some polish to their game at halftime, because they have not been as crisp here as they've been in the past.
No, and one thing, George, you've seen the Big Reds and a lot of the folks out here watching this through the years, Bellaire is really a second-half ball club.
They are going for their 37th consecutive regular season win.
Frankie Hibbitts kneeling down.
What in the world? This is another timeout for Brooke.
You have him, as we said, George. You can't take him into the locker room with you and use him in there, so you might as well use him up out here.
The third timeout called. What was that?
I was just laughing here at some of the Big Red fans who venture to this side of the field and sit here in the middle of the Bruin people.
Yeah, it's a weird scenario on this side of the field, because some of the boisterous Bellaire fans tend to come to this side of the field and kind of intermingle with the opposition, which makes for some interesting looks back and forth.
Yes, it does. And but they get here early and get the best seats up here against the press box, where they have the wall to lean back against, and they're sitting right directly on the 50-yard line. And no matter what game you come to, you're going to see these same faces sitting in these same seats, George.
They were running. We're told the gates opened up and they were running for the seats. It looked like the Jamboree in the Hills.
Jamboree in the Hills.
All right.
Running of the Bulls.
I think we may get this opportunity here to see what happens. Homer. Ball down. Kick up. Well, after 3 timeouts,
good. I'm sure glad, George, that we're fortunate enough to have these headphones on right now, because
some of the other people sitting in front of the horn will be tested for deafness.
But they don't even move. They're used to it, George. We'll take a look here at the kick as Frankie Hibbitts makes a clean catch there and puts the ball down for Mr. Homer, and Justin boots are nice and high and through for 3 points. 34 seconds remaining in the half. The Big Reds 10, the Bruins 7. And right now, Coach Budrow is talking to his receiving team over here, just reminding them to make sure that they field the ball clean, covered up, and let's get out of here and go inside and get ready to come back out and fight again, being down 3.
We've got a chess game here because Brooke will get the ball to start the third quarter.
Yes, they
Bellaire
will.
received and promptly fumbled at the beginning, so don't be rushing off.
Number 23, Brian Brick.
Justin Homer teeing it up. Sachini George is deep, and I believe it's going to be Brian Dick back there with him again.
And it's a little squib job down the middle. Well, those things are just brutal. And Sperlazza is down, and there's some extracurriculars going on between Brian Moore and Cory Blazik after the play, but no harm, no foul. First down, Brooke with 30 seconds.
He was just asking what classes he was taking this year, George.
I'm sure it was a real exchange of pleasantries. This is a physical game, in case you hadn't noticed. I had a caller on my radio show complaining about a coach grabbing a guy by the face mask. What is this, patty cakes? No, with 3 wideouts here.
Option to the short side.
And
Look at
Hunter
that
is
ball
down.
tucked away.
They are telling him to spike the football. 18, 17. They're actually, what are they doing?
Well, George, let's see if this is a, yes.
What did you think? Maybe it was a Neil O'Donnell?
Yeah, I
play or
did.
something?
I thought maybe, well, I wouldn't exactly say a Neil O'Donnell. I'd say a Dan Marino play.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think
O'Donnell stole that.
I think O'Donnell's really was just a fluke, George. I don't know really that was a planned play or not, just that everybody was dead. He looked to spike the ball, and then he saw the receiver on the right-hand side, and as you saw, he turned back to the left-hand side, and all of a sudden...
You know, sooner or later, we'll see that in high school ball. You're right.
Oh, sure. Sure. Coaches are the biggest thieves there are in this kind of stuff.
You having been one of them. Here's Nichols. Nichols will be chased out of bounds. That'll stop the clock, but there isn't any time left on it. That'll do her. Ah, what a great day for football. At halftime, Bellaire 10, Brooke 7, Battle of the Bands right after this.
Enjoy family dining overlooking the Ohio River at Peach's Restaurant in Wheeling. Stop by after the game. We're open until 11:30.
Rob's Specialties and the Target Sports Shop, your one-stop sports shops, would like to wish all area football teams good luck and a great season.
Best wishes for all area teams from Wheeling Pittsburgh Steel Federal Credit Union.
Ask State Farm agent Bill Garvey about a home security package, an economical combination of homeowners and mortgage life insurance. See Bill at 700 Charles Street in Wallsburg.
Foreign steel dumping. What's it mean to the Ohio Valley steelmakers? Find out in a News 9 special report. Stand Up for Steel, live Wednesday, October 21st at 8 p.m., only on News 9.
Today's WTOV9 high school football game of the week between the Brooke Bruins and the Bellaire Big Reds is brought to you by Rich Gallardi Ford.
Welcome back to the WTOV9 game of the week. At halftime, it's Bellaire 10, Brooke 7. The Brooke Bruin Marching Band is on the field for your viewing pleasure as we turn it over to them.
WTOV9 invites you out for a spectacular good time at Ogilvy Park's Boo at the Zoo. Bring the whole family to the zoo as it takes on a Halloween theme with just enough spooky effects to make it fun. Treat stations, a Halloween multimedia show at the Benedum Planetarium, a ride on the Spooky Special, and a special treat for visitors who come in costume. Tickets are just $2.75 for zoo members and $3.75 for non-members. Don't miss Boo at the Zoo, sponsored by Pepsi Frito-Lay, Convenient Food Mart, and WTOV9. WTOV9 is proud to salute outstanding students at Brooke High School. This week we salute Krista Cooey, National Honor Society, Who's Who, Track. Brian Moore, Varsity Football, Varsity Tennis, National Honor Society. Kristen Hoff, Madrigal Choir, Spring Musical, Swim Team. Zack McGill, National Honor Society, Cultural Arts, Young Writers. Heather McAbee, National Honor Society, French Club, Academic Institute. WTOV9 salutes all the students at Brooke High School.
And welcome back. We're at halftime of the Brooke Bruins Bellaire Big Reds game. Bellaire 10, Brooke 7, and will now be entertained by the Bellaire High Marching Band under Daryl Lucas.
Perform a tune recorded by the group Smash Mouth, Walking on the Sun, featuring trumpet soloist Miss Tracy Jones. charts, the band will play a song made popular by the group Hanson, Bop.
From your 24-hour...
continues today. And will Kroger's purchase another food chain? We'll have these stories, sports, and your 24-hour forecast tonight.
Rich Gallardi Ford, the only Ford dealer in the Ohio Valley to win the North American Customer Excellence Award, is proud to win it for a second time. And remember, there are no losers in Scholastic Sports. Good luck, area teams.
Today's WTOV9 high school football game of the week between the Brooke Bruins and the Bellaire Big Reds is brought to you by Rich Gallardi Ford.
Bellaire 10, Brooke 7. That's the present, and right there is a little bit of the Big Reds past. Joey Galloway, who is one of the most revered at this point in history wide receivers in the National Football League. And I'm going to tell you what, he's been on the front of he was on front of Pro Football Weekly a few weeks ago. This guy is making an impact.
Was on ESPN
Sports Look the other night. They had
close-up talk.
Close-up, yeah, up close. Highlights from the first half. This will be Kenny Roth going in from point-blank range, and that put Bellaire up 7-0. Then in the second quarter, Billy Hunter on a keeper had about the same amount of yardage for the touchdown as did Kenny Roth. 7-7 your score. Then in the final minute of the half, the big play. Lednik gets him into field goal range as Lednik unloads it downfield for Jason Preston. You can see that Preston had a 5-yard cushion on the defensive back, Matt Cross. That led to a field goal, and now we're back to the kick of the second half. Maybe we can fetch Joey and get him up here. I know he's probably tired of being interviewed and pursued by media people, but good return by Brooke out to the 40-yard line. Cliff Sachini.
Great return, just kept picking and picking away there and brought the ball, George, you sit out to the 40-yard line before Mike Marling brought him down for the Big Reds. 1st and 10 for the Bruins.
I think what we saw a few minutes ago is what Bellaire's football's been all about over the last decade or so. There's Joey Galloway with a bunch of little kids wearing red shirts, okay? And you know what they're thinking. You know, this guy's their hero. And they envision themselves in 10 years being the next Joey Galloway. Somebody could be. And that they grow up with that mindset now that
I want to be the next
I want
Joey.
to be a Big Red. I want to do this thing. And there's a tremendous amount of pride. Here is the first down play as they go back to the I formation now, and you see Nichols working the left side. So Brooke kind of mixing their offenses up. 2nd down and a long 5.
Just to give the Big Red defense, George, a different look than what they've drilled the whole second half, or a halftime there on their, look at this.
Yeah, Sperlazza with a big first down into Bellaire territory to the 41-yard line.
As I was saying, the Bellaire defense and the defensive staff is inside working against that double tight wishbone look. All of a sudden, here comes the Bruins out in something different. Take a look right here, as you said, Sperlazza straight up the middle. Great blocking by the offensive line of the Bruins. Picks up the first down in the Big Red territory down to the 42-yard line.
Well, when they do this, they spread a defense. And then when they go back to that wishbone, it creates a totally different concept about timing on defense. Hunter, however, is not going anywhere on this play.
The big number 76, Lee Fetters, pulled him down there for a loss. George going to bring up 2nd down and 12 now for the Bruins. They was trying to run the option game out of the eye look.
Fetters aided and abetted on the play by Josh Johnson.
Saw Billy Hunter there, George, take that reverse spin to get himself 2 yards deep in the backfield, so he's attacking downhill there at the line of scrimmage, but there was just no way that the Big Red defense was letting him attack downhill.
10-7 your score. Bellaire by 3. Nice little pass. And the receiver is on the loose. And that's the guy we couldn't identify earlier, but Bobby Lewis is going to have everybody in the building know a little bit about him before this is said and done.
They sure are from the tight end spot there, George. They brought the, you'll see the flanker coming in from the outside there, and they just snuck that tight end underneath him there on a crossing route. Nice block there by the outside man there. I believe that was Matt Cross who came in there and laid the outside backer out to clear the way for Lewis to go up that sideline. 1st and 10 for the Bruins from the Big Red 23.
There was also a nice block thrown in the backfield to keep one of the linemen off of Hunter before he released the football. Now, Sperlazza gets a few. 2nd down 7. The ball at the Bellaire 20-yard line. Brooke trying to go in to take its first lead.
Jake Doyle holding on for the Big Reds, taking him down for a 3-yard gain. The Bruins are pumped up, George, coming out this second half, moving this ball right down the field. Big Red D has got to settle down out here and put a stop to him.
2nd down and 7. Hunter gives it to Nichols. Nichols looking for blocking help. Gets a few. He'll get about 4 yards on the play as they keep chipping away at the smaller Bellaire defensive unit.
Down inside the 16-yard line here, George. We take a look here at the isolation play. There's Sperlazza leading the way there for Nichols. Made a nice block on the defensive end, Johnson, and allowed him to make the outside break there. Going to bring up, as we said, 3rd down and a long 3 for the Bruins. But they'll have the 2 down. They're definitely down here in 4-down territory, George, on the 16-yard line. There's your wishbone double tights.
Hunter, option, first down to the 10. Brooke on the move here. Its initial drive of the 3rd quarter. Bellaire clinging to a 10-7 lead.
We have an official timeout.
We have a little timeout here, George, as Mr. Perdiman is talking to the squad out there.
Budrow is having one of those.
He wants to know why that with the drive they're going on to right now, why they're going to take timeout on the field and talk to his group and take the momentum away from him. But Mr. Perdiman is going to the Bellaire huddle also to make sure that both teams' mind is on the football game, not on conversations after the plays.
You think there might be a little trash talking going on down there?
Just a little bit.
First down.
Now we're back. Good officiating, though, George, to start any problems before anything can get out of hand there.
1st and goal at the 10. Nichols gets away.
Flag.
There's a flag down. Hold everything.
Holding.
Yeah, I know exactly what to think of. Every time we get down in here in this building, something weird starts to happen.
Let's take a look here, George, see if we can see anything there.
Let's see if what Sperlazza does here. No, I don't see anything there.
I don't see it on number 8.
That had to be behind the play. So that flag was thrown.
No, George, the officials are signaling number 8.
All right, down to the sidelines. Jeff has the main man, Joey G.
Thanks a lot. I'm here with Joey Galloway, wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. Mr. Galloway, what was it like in your years back here at Bellaire?
Yeah, I got some great memories from here. You know, this is why I always come back home, you know, a lot. It's our bye week, so I always get a chance to come back and see at least one game a year.
How did you get to Bellaire this week?
Flew into Columbus and drove down. Took me about 5 hours of flying to actually get to Columbus from Seattle.
Sounds like a devoted fan. One last question. Did you have to pay to get in here?
No, they let me in free. They take care of me around here.
Imagine that. All right.
Good?
Thanks a lot. Man.
We couldn't hear what he was talking about. The bye week for the Seahawks.
Bruins backed up 5 more, George, there on a motion penalty. First and goal from the 25.
Hunter in trouble, and down he goes at the 35-yard line as Bellaire starts to get some penetration. You saw
Doyle.
Yep.
Brings the ball back to the 35-yard line.
Going to bring up now second and 35. Take a look at it right here as Hunter draws back, and Doyle just fights his way through the protection there to take him down.
That's a sack, our second of the afternoon, and for that, Kroger's tab is now $100. Second down and goal from the 35-yard line. And Hunter airs out a nice ball, but it is overthrown. That thing just kept sailing, it looked like to me, Ty. Maybe got up into the jet stream there.
Furioli, the intended receiver there, was Quin Campbell covering him, George. He just did not put enough air in the ball. He really just put a nice little rifle shot down the field here, because Furioli did have, you see there, he had a step on the defender. The ball was just too far for him to pick up. Third and 35, not the type of play calling that the Brooke staff likes.
Third and goal. So they got to get it. They got to get a touchdown or nothing out of this.
They would love to get the ball, George, down the field where they could go for the field goal to tie the ball game up here. But here comes the Big Reds on a blitz.
Hunter does a nice job to get out of some trouble, then throws, and there just isn't anyone there. There were about 6 or 7 Bellaire players bearing down on Billy Hunter.
Yes, they brought everybody but the kitchen sink, and looks like the Brooke Bruins are going to punt the ball here, George, as we take a look at Hunter here running for his life, and you'll see all the red jerseys in hot pursuit of him.
The posse is really there.
And he smartly just throws the ball away, and the Bruins are going to be punting the ball from their own 35 to try to pin the Big Reds deep.
Well, that somehow turned into a debacle for the Bruins after they had such a brilliant drive all the way to the 10-yard line.
Oh, it's blocked.
A blocked punt. Well, actually, it's almost like a touchback because it rolls dead at the 21-yard line. But Scott Martin got through there. Scott Martin, a junior.
Came through there clean, George. It looks like he must have just gave a offensive lineman a little shutter move and come around him. But right there, as you see Cross trying to put the ball in a coffin corner, but the Big Reds nipped it, and the ball rolled to the 21-yard line.
What's your buddy's name right here?
Moose.
Moose. He's leading the cheers. That's
Kenny
Roth on the carry.
Kenny Roth bringing the ball outside the 25-yard line there for the Big Reds as Moose leads the Big Reds here in Brooke territory, as Kenny Roth here on the little counter action coming to the Brooke sideline and picking up 4 yards, going to bring up second down and 6 now for the Big Reds.
The always colorful and animated Bud Billiard. One of the priceless characters in coaching.
He's ready to chew nails right now, George, after that last sequence of actions. They get in the end zone and they end up going backwards. Lednik play action.
Second and 6, they set up the screen. And nice defense. Saw the Bruins fought off blockers back there, and you saw 23 get back up in there. Brian Dick. The thing was is that Bellaire had the blocker in the area, but Dick refused to be blocked, and it's a third down 11 coming up here for the Reds.
The Bruin defense, George, is playing with a lot of life out there right now as Lednik made a nice little play action there, came back to the screen, and it was set up well. But Dick just had enough speed to get around that blocker to take him down for a loss. Third and 11 now for the Big Reds from their own 21.
Lednik, incomplete and almost intercepted.
Trying to force that ball in there to Johnson.
The best opportunity to make any catch was Jeremy Sadler, who at 5'10", 212 did a pretty good job to get back into the short area right there.
Yes, he did,
Play
George.
defense.
That linebacker out of that 4 there, a middle linebacker, he just dropped back and read Johnson on the curl there. And Johnson tried to slide to the sideline here, and Jeremy just slid with him and had the best break on the ball and just went through his hands.
Well, Brooks done some good things here in the third quarter, Ty. First, they possessed the ball for almost 6 minutes. Then they get Bellaire 3 and out, and they should get good field position. Fair catch at the 45-yard line by number 31, Cliff Sachini of the Brooke Bruins. So they'll send that offense back out there that's been pretty effective now for about a quarter and a half.
Good field position for them, George, here on their own 46-yard line, ready to move right into Big Red territory. And let's see what the offensive staff of the Bruins have decided to do. They're going to stay with that eye they come out that first series with, or go back to their double tights. But they're coming out with a spread eye formation pro.
Nichols bounces to the outside. Good job by Nichols. He's back into Bellaire territory and taken down at about the 45-yard line.
Great pickup, George, there of 9 yards on first down for the Bruins. Going to bring up second down and short for him from the 40, just outside the 45-yard line.
5.5 minutes to go in the third. Bellaire 10, Brooke 7.
Second down and 2.
Like Joe Nichols has kind of recovered from those nicks and bangs he's had so far this year, George. Inside
back
handoff.
in the eye. That is Sperlazza for a first down to the 39.
Number 26 for the Big Reds, Cory coming up to make the stop for him as he crosses the 40-yard line. We'll take a look here at the first back through there. There's a nice pull there by the offensive guard, Tony Underwood, leading the way for Sperlazza to cut upfield for the first down.
Having coached, obviously, and having to defend just about every kind of offense, I'm going to ask you a question in a minute to evaluate what kind of a changeup it is that they throw at you when they run this eye with two wideouts on either side, then come back a couple minutes later and run a wishbone. Ball down!
Bellaire.
Ball recovered by the Bellaire Big Reds as the Bruins, as they have done so many times this year, look good, and then all of a sudden something happens and they self-destruct. Josh Johnson on the recovery.
Yes. Right there, George, just a mix-up in the exchange here. If we can see the exchange here between the quarterback and the tailback. Ball just not put into his breadbasket very well on that play right there for the Bruins. Shot themselves in the foot again, so the Big Reds are going to take over from their own 41-yard line with 4:56 remaining in the third quarter.
And everything that they've worked for, Brooke, in this third quarter explodes like a loaded cigar right here because they lost the field position.
Play action.
Bellaire at the 41. Look at this defensive effort back here.
And we're going to have
there's a holding on top of it, so they'll have two options, Brooke will here. 57 with a most rude greeting of Chris Lednik in the backfield.
How about 67, George?
Was
Jim
that
Jones.
Was that Jonesy?
I believe it was right here. We'll see the play action, and we're going to see him come off the block right there. Yes, that's his 6, I believe, George, for the Bruins taking him down.
I really do need those spectacles.
I know you're just a little vain. You're a little vain, and you just won't go get them.
Ugly enough without. What happens?
Oh, wait a minute. What are you saying?
I'm sorry. Should never say that next to a guy sitting there with him. You're right. I'm a lost cause here. Second down and 20.
Lednik, man deep.
2-man coverage on the receiver, and in fact Hibbitts had 2 big guys doing a coverage job on him right there.
Yes, he did, and Lednik on the play action there went ahead and went with the deep receiver, and there was 2 men on him, whereas he had a short man, the back coming out of the backfield open, but Chris decided to go ahead and take a gamble deep, and luckily for the Big Reds, the ball was batted down. Going to bring up 3rd and 20 now for the Big Reds from their own 31.
Well, Brooks' defensive staff suspected something right there because Henthorn was one of the 2 guys on Hibbitts. Hibbitts is not very big. Henthorn is 6'3". Here's Bellaire on 3rd and 20.
Going for the money.
Long lob down the field, incomplete. And this is one of those days. Lekanudos couldn't pull that in, and this is one of those days, thanks in part, great part, to the defense of the Brooke Bruins and their defensive backs, that Bellaire is just not getting the big catches made down the field.
No, they're not. I think just on a straight 7-yard drop there, George just put the ball up to the sideline and was hoping the big man could come down with it, but it wasn't to be.
So back is Driscoll to punt, and he gets a nice high one. Fair catch called for at the 34-yard line, and that's where Brooke will put it in play. So the 2 teams maneuvering for field position at this point, and you saw 86 pull it in, Trent Henthorn again. Down to Jeff on the sidelines, who has the Bellaire cheerleaders.
we heard from the Brooke cheerleaders. Now let's hear from the Bellaire cheerleaders.
Yo! Move forward! Pushing through that zone! You can't beat the Reds! Ho, ho! Go! Are you ready for the best team around? Bellaire Big Reds will just do the ground! Unbeaten for 3 seasons! Here on your test! That's with the best! Go down like the Reds! Reds! 2, 3!
Back to you, George.
Thank you, ladies.
And while we were away, George, the Bruins come up for the first down play, and 10 men on the field moved, except the man with the ball. The center did not snap it, so we had a little mix-up there, so now the Bruins are looking at 1st and 15.
Hunter back, throws a short ball that's well defended by Quin Campbell. He got there right as the ball did. Bobby Lewis makes the catch for a very short gain. It'll be a 2nd down and about 13.
That's the same play, George, that the Bruins used earlier on the other sideline going away for us and took the ball down the field, just that tight end there on the quick underneath route, bringing the outside receiver in, but Campbell stayed home and was waiting on Mr. Lewis as the ball came to him.
Campbell almost got there too quick. 2nd down, 13. They give it to Nichols. Nichols is not going to get much. Good defense that time by the Big Reds. As you saw the pursuit, 88 was there. That's Dusty LaRoche.
And the reason Dusty LaRoche was there was that the lead back for the Bruins there, number 8, the fullback, Craig Sperlazza was coming out there, but he had to take a linebacker that was blitzing up through the inside. And as he leveled him, that took away the lead blocker for Nichols on that isolation to the outside. 3rd and 11 for the Bruins.
Hunter to throw. Hunter. Incomplete. Furioli, the intended man.
And again, George, he had to step on the Big Red defense, but you could just tell that this is not something that the Brooke Bruins want to be into. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. They're just not comfortable throwing that ball 25, 30 yards down the field. We take a good look here at Hunter as he drops back. And young man has a nice arm on him. As we said, they got the speed to get down there deep. He just got to put a little more air on that ball and let his receivers run underneath it. Cross back to punt for the Bruins.
Spencer and Campbell deep at their own 34-yard line. Cross kicks. Nice kick. This will be over the head. And we'll roll. 10-yard line. Drew. Here comes Spencer. Flags are down. Everywhere. It's coming back. And Bellaire's going to be pinned well inside their own 10-yard line after this infraction is marked off.
Yes, they are, George. The flags are laying there on the 12-yard line. And both the men back deep through them, so there must have been an obvious clip there.
Both coaching staffs have to be a little frustrated with some of the disturbing mistakes that both teams have been guilty of in key situations. This right here is Spencer, an opportunity to get them out from the shadow of their own goalpost, but instead they'll be right back in the shadow.
Great for the Bruin defense if they could just put a hold right here and let the offense get the ball back on this side of the 50-yard line for him, George. But, of course, on the other side of the field there, Coach Magistro and his offensive staff want to move that ball down the field and get themselves moving offensively. The Brooke defense has done a great job of putting the halts to their offense this half.
Campbell comes in motion. Bellaire strapped back at their 6-yard line. Here is Lednik, and Lednik is out of bounds at the 14, so he gets 8. 2nd down 2.
Again, George, they pinned the end man line of scrimmage there and let Lednik break the containment there, and the outside linebacker stayed with the receiver, so Chris Marley just tucked the ball underneath there and picked up 8 yards.
Both teams, Ty, have had sustained drives for touchdowns, and both teams have had opportunities to make big plays down the field. The difference in this game right now is the big pass play at the end of the first half from Lednik to Jason Preston that set up the field goal.
It sure is.
Other than that, it's been one missed opportunity after another for both offenses. That is a first down.
Quin Campbell on the inside trap there, George, taking up the first down for the Big Reds down to about the 18-yard lines. We take a look at it here as the changer moved forward with 2:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Campbell coming off his guard's block very quickly up to that middle there, picking up the first down for the Big Reds. This is one thing that the Big Reds definitely want to do is take a little air out of the Bruins by pounding them with their offense.
1st and 10 at the 18. Lednik with time. Throws, has Johnson, the tight end. 1st down at the 30-yard line.
Number 53 for the Brooke Bruins, Denny Truex, made a nice pop on him after Jeremy Sadler had him low, but he held onto the ball for the 1st down. We take a look at here again, Lednik dropping back, and the offensive line doing a great job giving him the time just to set back in there and find the open receivers. It's tough for those linebackers, George, to be dropping back here, trying to get in the way of those guys running those 15-yard curls.
1st down, Bellaire from the 30. They lead 10-7.
Breaking the containment.
Josh Johnson makes the catch. He is in Brooke territory to the 46-yard line.
Kirk Furioli forced wrestling down there, George, as you said, on the 46-yard lines. They cross the midfield, and here come the Big Reds offense starting to move the ball again. Again, take a look here as he breaks the outside. I mean, he's no one there, George. He can do whatever he wants, and this time the receiver got behind the Brooke defender, and he was there for the catch for the 1st down.
These are the matchup problems that Bellaire gives you with 6'3", 185, and Spencer. You get 6'3", 180 with Josh Johnson, who's caught the last 2 balls. Now they go up the middle. And that's Quin Campbell, who lowers his helmet and drives to the 35 of the Brooke Bruins. Then you look at these guys, 6'3", 6'3", Lekanudos at 6'4". Then you come back inside with the handoff right here, and this is where defenses start to get a little bit tentative and start to back up looking for the pass. You're on your heels, and they run that thing at you.
Just so many weapons, George. You know, the defensive linemen there are trying in their best to get up the field because they know that they need to put pressure on Lednik, and as they do that, it just opens up the quick hitter there for Campbell to pick up 9 3/4 of a yard on that 1st down play.
We'll bring up a 2nd and 1.
2nd down, less than a yard to go for Bellaire. They are at the Brooke 36. The Reds lead the Bruins 10-7 here in the 3rd quarter. A minute to go.
The Big Red offense, George, just keeps the opposing defensive staff on their toes, not knowing what they're going to be looking at to go do there. But we got a flag down. It looks like it's going to be marched off against the Bruins for entering the neutral zone there before the snap. 1st down,
exactly
Big Reds.
Right. Offside. You saw it pretty clearly. We might get another look at it, but no, we don't have it. But definitely there was a Bruin coming from the left flank who stepped into the neutral zone and got his hand caught in the cookie jar there.
Down to the 31 with 40 seconds and counting in the 3rd quarter. Big Reds going in for a crucial score, George. Puts themselves up by 2 scores over the Bruins.
Lednik. Caught. Nice jump by Jason Preston, who has had good hands in this game. That's another 1st down for the Bellaire Big Reds. 25 seconds showing.
Take a look at it here, George. That Lednik just dropping back and Preston running that 10-yard square out, and that ball's thrown before he even begins to look, and the ball was nothing, as you said, but a timing matter, and the ball was there waiting for him to bring it in, run out of bounds there on the 18-yard line. Just a result of practice, 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 and throwing those outs.
Lednik play fake. Gets rid of it. Quin Campbell is wrestled to the turf, but Campbell manages a strong gainer on a 1st down. That should be the final play of the 3rd quarter, a gain of 7.
Right here, George, you can see the quick play action there, and Campbell right now is already shooting himself out to the flat there. He just gets a quick bump on that outside man, and then releases to the opening. As you said, now it's just a bulldogging contest to get him down to the ground.
Brooke had some pressure, as you saw, but good job by Lednik to get rid of the ball by the defender. 4th quarter coming right at you. It's Bellaire 10, Brooke 7 on the WTOV 9 Game of the Week.
Well, George, here we go. Quarter number 4.
2nd down, 4 for the Bellaire Big Reds. Bruins customarily holding up all 4 fingers They always believe the fourth quarter belongs to them. That may be first down yardage.
Number 66 for the Bruins. They're getting up on the bottom of the pile. Chad Haught pulled Kenny Roth down there on the 7-yard line. As you said, George, it is enough for the first down. It's going to be first and goal for the Big Reds. Take a look here, just a little counter action of Kenny Roth coming up through there. And there is, as I mentioned, there was Mr. Haught waiting on him at the 7-yard line to take him down.
I like the patience of the Bellaire offense. You know, in the past 2 or 3 years, everything came easy. I mean, he's cruised up and down the field. This group's had to work for every yard this year, and patience has been a virtue.
The thing that got me worried, George, is this big air horn right here in your face waiting to go off.
And
Kenny Roth's going to be just inside the 1.
Yeah, he's short at the 1-yard line. And you're right, this guy here, your man Moose,
he got
that horn ready to go. Is that Campbell that made the result? Campbell got 3.
Yes.
And Roth got 30. So
the ball was low. We'll take a look at it here, George. The ball is just slightly underthrown there by Lednik, as you saw again. Campbell right there going to the top of the screen out of the backfield. And Lednik with a little pressure on him. And Quin smartly goes down to make the reception on his knees just inside the 1. Second and goal.
You will know by the noise that you hear whether they're in, because I won't be able to describe it.
Kenny Roth. No air.
Short. I'm prepared to duck because Moose has this thing. It's like loaded weapon 3. I mean, this thing is ready to go off.
We'll take a look at it here, George. The Brooke defensive line, the interior, just stood up the offensive line for the Big Reds and allowed no movement at all. They stopped him short. Third down in inches for the Big Reds.
Bellaire's the one team I know that can go 80 yards in the blink of an eye and then take 10 minutes to get a yard in this situation. It's just that they're much more comfortable in open space. You got a shot of Moose?
Got the shot of the Moose man right there?
Yeah, get a shot of him after the touchdown if you would, if there is one. Lednik
on a keeper.
Lednik may not get
there.
In. That's my hand there. That's how close I am to this. No! They're killing me in here. Moose is a madman, ladies and gentlemen, as we get another look at Lednik, who gets 1 yard for the touchdown. 3 touchdowns scored in this game, all from a yard.
And definitely, George, that he had his mind made up. He was going to run the ball, even though Quin Campbell wasn't sure that. Quin went ahead and made his move into the end zone. So he gave him an open receiver to throw to, but he smartly knew that he could get in on his own.
Point after pending here by Justin Homer. Kick is good. 17-7.
9:48 remaining in the fourth quarter. Now the Bruins are going to have their work cut out for them, George, that they cannot keep hurting themselves. You know, as we mentioned earlier, they was down inside the 10-yard line there. First and goal. Score, penalty backs them up 15, backs them up 5 yards, sack backs them up 10 more, end up punting the ball.
Budrow is animated as ever on the Brooks sideline. There's a shot of Chris Lednik, who has had some pretty tough acts to follow.
Oh, boy. Those are some very, very big shoes to try to fill.
You almost feel bad for Bellaire when if they lose at some point a football game, because they've set their standards and the bar is set so high right now that they don't want to be the team that lets this streak get away. It's incredible when you factor in that a perfect season eluded this great program until 1985, and now 95. And now they don't know any other way. They couldn't get a perfect season until 95, and they've been perfect in the regular season ever since. 10-0 state finalists, lost in a brutal double overtime to Versailles in 95. 96 all the way to the finals, 13-0 before being upended by Valley View. Last year to the semifinals again against Valley View. It's been incredible.
Cliff Sachini on the return.
Sachini, a good job out to the 30.
Number 36, Mike Marling, bringing him down, George, just outside the 30-yard line.
4:40 to go in the football game. George Kellis and Ty Fleming. Nelson Field and Bellaire were the Big Reds, looking for 37 in a row. Their next 3 games will keep you on your toes. They have got Wheeling Park, which has played some very good football. Same Wheeling Park team that beat Brooke last week at Brooke. And then the following week, you've got Columbus Hartley coming in here, which is on a great run over the last 4 or 5 year period. And then the Ferry.
I was saying, who did they play that last game?
Martin's Ferry.
Ferry, okay.
If those two go into that game 9-0, that is going to be a spectacle, and we'll have it for you right here. That's Sperlazza. Gets about 5, maybe 6.
Taking a short flat pass there from the quarterback, number 11, Billy Hunter, picking up, as you said, 5 yards, bringing up 2nd down and 5 now for the Bruins. We take a look here, George, at the replay.
I think I erroneously said there was 4 minutes and change. There's 9 minutes and change. The sun is hitting that scoreboard. There you get another look at Sperlazza, who gets 5. 2nd down and 5. So Brooke has plenty of time here.
Yes, they do, but right now, George, there's a sense of urgency on the field with them and on the sense of the sideline that they know they need a score and score quick at this point in the ball game. And I'll tell you, right there is the way to do it. Get that ball to Nichols outside with little blockings. He picks up the 1st down close to the midfield.
Do defensive teams have a tendency at this point in the game to start to wear down, especially a lot of kids?
Sure they do. And there are a lot of kids from Bellaire and Brooke both are going both ways there, George. As I misspoke, I thought it was closer to midfield, but they marked him out of bounds back there on the 42-yard line.
1st down, Brooke at its own 42. The give to the up man, Sperlazza. Sperlazza, good yardage, still on the go, a 1st down inside the Bellaire 45 to the 44.
Exactly what the Bruins need, George. That's to move the ball quickly and take it down the field with 8:43 remaining here in the ball game. They needed 2 scores to get back into it. We take a look here at the 1st man through, Sperlazza. Nice trapping inside, big number 67. Just put a nice block in there. Tim Jones allow Sperlazza to cut off of him and break to the sideline to pick up the 1st down to the 44-yard lines of the Big Reds.
Second man threw out of the bone. And good effort. Good, strong effort by Sachini, who surges forward inside the 40 all the way down to about the 35. So Brooke has come a pretty good way in a short period of time here on this series. 8:05 to play.
Take a look here, George. As we said, the old fullback there just going straight up the middle there on that first option of that wishbone look that they're back into double tights, full house. Option.
Hunter, late pitch. Nichols is not going to get the corner. Good pursuit by Bellaire that time. Cory Blazik applied the coup de grace.
He sure did, George. He closed up very quick out of his corner spot here. We'll take a look at it. It looks like Nichols may have room to pick up the 1st down. But as the ball is pitched to him from Hunter, Blazik really turned on the Jets right here to bring him down short. Going to bring up 3rd and 1 again for the Bruins. Ball on the 35-yard line.
Brooke without question in a 4-down situation.
Oh, definitely. With 7:17 remaining in the ball game.
The up back Sperlazza, 1st down on the move. Sperlazza will score. 35 yards. Craig Sperlazza.
Sperlazza shows some great speed there, George. Once he was able to get by that first line of the Bellaire defense. Again, 1st man through, Sperlazza. Great look at the hole there, George. My goodness gracious. And now it's just a foot race, and he has the Jets to get it into the end zone.
And that big Bruin offensive line is starting to wear on some people.
Ryan Sperlazza in now to attempt the extra point.
The kick is good, which puts Brooke into a situation where a field goal could tie this thing. 7:02 to play. Bellaire 17, Brooke 14. Don't go away.
WTOV9 is proud to salute outstanding students at Bellaire High School. This week we salute Cory Bizak, football, homecoming king candidate, 6th grade camp counselor. Lindsay Mendelson, student council, principals list, red line. Matt Materkowski, football, basketball, student council. Matt Sherwood, varsity football, varsity basketball, honor roll. Jessica Pramick, varsity basketball, student council, honor roll. WTOV9 salutes all the students at Bellaire High School. Today's WTOV9 high school football game of the week between the Brooke Bruins and the Bellaire Big Reds is brought to you by Rich Gallardi Ford.
Welcome back.
We got a ball
7:02
game
remaining.
We got a ball game here at Nelson Field, and with 7:02 to play, Bellaire clings to a 17-14 lead, but Old Mo is on the side of the green and gold, at least for the moment.
And it sure has awakened the Bruin rooters in front of us, George. They're really up on their feet with the band cheering and getting their people ready to go. Matt Cross, low line drive kick. Quin Campbell can't find the handle.
Campbell gets away. Campbell turned that into a pretty good situation for Bellaire. It could have been real bad for the Big Reds, the way that whole sequence began to unfold.
It sure did. And Rob Morris ended up being a lifesaver for the Bruins here as Campbell could not find the handle. And all of a sudden he picked it up. Then he just used his speed to get to the outside. And right there, number 32, Morris, was able to grab onto the jersey to point down. And other than that, George, he had an awful lot of green.
Campbell and Roth might be an underrated tandem of setbacks, and this whole play here is ugly as the Reds had people moving in different directions long before the ball was snapped. 5-yard penalty. It'll be first down at 15 from the 21.
Half the huddle heard on 1 and half the huddle heard on 2. And the center heard on 2.
Yeah, Bellaire at times in this game has done some things very, very efficiently, and then at other times in this game, there's been some aloofness out there. So this is not the time for that if you're looking at it from their perspective. 1st and 15. Campbell in motion. Give it to Roth. Roth is mugged again down at the 22-yard line after a gain of a yard or two. Henthorne and Truex on the tackle. 6.5 minutes to play. A 3-point Bellaire lead. 2nd and long. I'm sure Bellaire would like to get a couple of first downs and really put the pressure on Brooke to have to make things happen when they get the ball back, whenever that is. But at this point in time, they've dug themselves a tall order. Here is Lednik. Here's bootleg. Short pass intercepted. And that had ugly written all over it, picked off by Brian Dick.
We sure did. We had Bobby Roth coming in motion, trying to sneak underneath there. Lednik was going to boot out the weak side here, and Brian Dick right there, as you said, stayed with him the whole way and just hopped all over that ball.
No chance at all for the Bellaire receiver. And that was all because of the pressure that the Bruins were able to get on Chris Lednik. Brooke first down at the Bellaire 34. In the bone.
6:03. Plenty of time.
Second man is Nichols, and Nichols driving inside the 30-yard line to the 29. Looked like the Big Reds had him bottled up at the line of scrimmage, but Nichols managed to squirt right through.
And again, George, let's give a lot of credit to that offensive line of the Bruins, because those young men out there have been going both ways on the ball. And right now, they're just controlling that line of scrimmage on that first down play. You pick up 5 yards down here in this territory per clip. Coach Budrow is going to have a big grin over here on this sideline.
2nd down 5. The up man, Sperlazza, bounces. And now Bellaire gets some people around him. He's close to the first down.
Going to bring up 3rd and 1, George.
Number 35, Justin Lagon.
Justin Lagon on the stop.
We'll take a look at it here. There again, there's the onside guard out there pulling for the Bruins, number 61, Cory Rockhold, leading the way for Sperlazza. And I guess it's going to be marked down there a little bit longer than that. 3rd and 2 for the Bruins from the 26-yard line.
Brooke very methodically looking for a route to the Bellaire end zone. They trail by 3.
Got 2 downs. Pick us up.
3rd down. 2 to go. Sperlazza. Pile moving forward. I think they got the first down, and that was some sheer effort right there. This has become a test of wills here in the 4th quarter. No quit in these Bruins who could have thrown it in. 2 and 5 down by 10 points in the 4th quarter, but they refused to fold up the 10.
Leg drive, George, by everybody. Not only by Sperlazza, the ball carrier, but by his offensive lineman, just making contact and moving the pile forward for the first down to the 22-yard line. 4:15 remaining in the ball game.
Brooke would like to score a touchdown, obviously, and then leave Bellaire as little time as possible. Hunter on the move, cuts it back. Good yardage on first down.
Gonna bring up 2nd and short, George, for him. Tell you what, I'm sure that Budrow's stomach's up in his throat right here. Look at that ball being waved out in the air as he cut forward there to make the move up the field. And coach would just love to have seen that ball tucked away there, but he held on to it. 2nd and a long one now for the Bruins. 3:39 remaining. As you said, George, they would love to take the time off the clock before they put one on the board if they possibly could.
Sperlazza works the middle, a first down. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Brooke Bruins. 3:25 to go in what has turned into a real thriller at Nelson Field.
Just inside the 10-yard line, George, one of the worst places. You love to get first downs, but boy, you hate to have that first down occur just inside the 10-yard line. Give you that full 10 yards to go here inside the red zone.
But they're in field goal range, and they trail only by 3, so Brooke, in its worst-case scenario, would like to get 3 to tie this.
Second man.
Send it to overtime, but they'd like to do better than that. As the second man through drives inside the 5-yard line, Joey Nichols. Keep in mind that Bellaire has not lost a regular season football game since the final week of the 1994 season.
Right here, George, the old belly play out of the bone there. The first man, Sperlazza, took some tacklers with him, and they pulled the ball out and gave it to Nichols. 2nd and goal from inside the 5 for the Bruins.
They need about 4 yards for this touchdown.
Second man.
Somebody got him by the ankle. He's to the 3.
Frankie Hibbitts, I believe, came through there and made a real big play for the Big Reds and took him down at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and goal, and they're moving the downs marker, George, just slightly for that gain.
In fact, I think it was Matt Matterkowski. Watch for a number. Well, no, you're right. Timeout on the field. They're standing.
2:20.
2 minutes and 20 seconds, the time remaining. Brooke, 3rd down and goal at the 4-yard line.
The thing that Coach Billiard over here now got to be thinking, George, is that with 3rd down and 4, if they do not go in the end zone on this play, what's he going to do on 4th? You going to gamble and go for the upset, or you going to go ahead and kick it and
I think
tie?
It depends, Ty, on where the ball is. If you need the entire 4 yards, or wait a minute, Moose is leaving and he took his horn with him?
Moose is getting away from the Brooke people.
Moose he took his marbles and went home. What did he do?
Took his horn and left us.
Moose is not a happy camper.
Nope.
It's 3rd and goal from the 4. Now, you're right, a decision has to be made, but I think as much confidence as Budrow has in his special teams, I wouldn't be surprised if he opted to go for the field goal the way his team is playing right now.
You got to. You don't want to take away from your team the chance to win the ball game, George. And as you said, where they've been moving the ball out there and doing things well, he'd be more than happy to settle for an overtime pitcher today if he could.
An interception has turned this thing around with under 5 minutes to go. Here is Brooke. 3rd down, 4. Hunter, option, cuts it back. Hunter does not get to the goal line, but he is pretty close. Bellaire fired up.
And timeout has been called on the field, George, and I believe it's been called by the Big Reds. Yes. With 2:07 remaining, we're going to take a look at the options, George, to the right-hand side. As Hunter gives the fake to Sperlazza and goes down that line of scrimmage, he sees a crease in there. But number 45 looked like for the Big Reds first, slowed him up here, Justin Lagon. And not quite sure there was the...
Lagon was involved, Robby Williams got there, and Jeremy Kochi got there. All three of those guys.
So we're looking now
at... credit Lagon for slowing that thing up, or it's a touchdown.
Sure did. We're looking at the board is calling 4th and 3, George, so I think they're just slightly inside the 3-yard line there. And
this is a very tough decision for the Brooke Bruins right here.
And I really haven't seen their kicker come out yet, George. I believe Coach Budrow is going to roll the dice and go for the win.
Or at least in this case, the lead. The one thing Bellaire will be is short of timeouts. But if Brooke does score the touchdown right here, then Bellaire will have 2:07 or somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 minutes to get the ball down the field. Everything is important now. If they get the touchdown, the extra point gives them a 4-point cushion. If they don't, then they could still have Bellaire pinned back here. Here's the handoff.
Sperlazza
Not
up the
going to
middle.
get there, or he is going to get there. No call.
They're stopped, no, George. They're both putting their foot down on the right side of the line. Going to be stopped short.
Both teams were celebrating on the play. Unbelievable. Budrow looks like somebody just ran over his dog.
Sperlazza, the first man through there, George, and from our angle, it's tough to tell,
There's
but both
no
officials definitely had their foot marked down on the ground right there.
Well, the only one who had two hands up in the air was
shirts.
Billy Hunter and a couple of the other white shirts, and that's the ones that count wear the stripes in that situation. Bellaire on a first down. Brooke quickly gets a timeout. Now, that's exactly what Brooke was thinking. If we don't get this thing in, we got a pin back here, and we've got some timeouts left. So that timeout coming with 1:54. Brooke is not dead yet. And you've got to hold on to the football if you're Bellaire, because a fumble down in this end would be devastating from their perspective.
And a first down would be a killer for the Bruins.
If you'll excuse the term, is one hell of a football.
Oh, boy, is it ever. People sure are getting their money's worth today watching this ball game. And I'm sure most of them are going to make sure that they tune in Channel 9 to catch this replay too, George, because it's going to be worth watching again.
I want to say this because I think it's important. I think this is as good an officiating crew as we have in the Valley, and I think they've done a remarkable job. A lot of difficult calls here this afternoon. Some very tough situations to put the officials in, just as there have been some very tough calls for the coaching staffs.
Sure.
And some very tough moments for players to have to execute what's going on out here. So what we have at the present time is a Bellaire 17-14 lead. 1:54 showing.
Second
the Reds backed up second down at their own 3, and they need 8 yards to get out of the hole. Here comes Roth, and Roth
first down
has a first down, which would be a crippling blow to the Bruins.
And timeout by the Bruins. If you take a look at it here, George, on the replay, this is a huge first down for the Big Reds. And Quin Campbell leading the way for him up in there behind that offensive line. And Kenny Roth struggling to get down past that first down marker, which he did.
How can these guys get out of a second down and 8 at their own 3 as easy as they do? But then you get down the other end, they need 3rd and 1 at the 1, and they have trouble. It's fascinating because they can run the football. And this team this year has been pretty effective running the football.
Yes, more so than some of the teams in the past, George. They do what's necessary, and right now what's necessary for the Brooke Bruins is to make a big stop right here and put Bellaire into a long situation. But you can pretty much bet that Coach Boner upstairs is not going to be calling many pass plays down to Coach Magister there on the sideline.
I'd like to know what the combined record of Brooks' opposition is for this. They got Zanesville coming up. That team's unbeaten. Bellaire, they're playing today. That team's unbeaten. Earlier in the season, I mean, it's on and on. I mean, Mount Lebanon hasn't lost too many ball games. Capital is right up in there. You've got just one titanic task after another that these guys face week in, week out.
Again,
Roth
Kenny
works
Roth.
that far side, may have the first down again. I think he's out of bounds.
I was going to say, I don't think he stayed in. Let's see. Now they're marking it for a first down, George, is the reason that the clock was stopped there. See if we can see here where he lands up on the ground at.
A minute 39 to go, and Brooke has got to be now down to their last timeout. That is their last one, so that means that they're going to have to try to strip the football. And frankly, if I'm Bellaire, I'm taking a knee.
Oh, definitely. You got first down with 1:39 to go, and they have no timeouts left. You're going to just take the ball and sit on it. That's how the season started for Brooke, wasn't it? In about this situation like this against a fine Joe Marshall ball club.
JM had him on the ropes, and the referees had a 9 count on John Marshall or on Brooke in that game, and they managed to get out of that mess, and that's one of their 2 wins, believe it or not. I just cannot fathom that Brooke is in position here for its 6th consecutive loss and its 3rd losing season in a 6-year period. That's
the Big Reds.
I don't think anybody believes that.
Lining up George and I like they're going to go ahead and run their regular row, and they are. They're giving the ball to Kenny Roth, who bounces back to the outside here. And he puts 2 hands on the ball, so he goes down after an 8-yard gain.
That's all well and good, but I don't know. This is risky business.
Especially here, George, when he makes his move back to the outside here. He only has one hand on the ball. If a Bruin could got him from behind there, the ball could have been on the ground. 1st and 10 for the Big Reds with 1:20 and clock moving.
So some of the opponents that Brooke has played this year have been intent on giving the Bruins opportunities at the end of the games. There's the knee. And that'll do it as we run the clock down. Well, we got some tough calls on players of the game, don't we?
Yes. I have a couple in mind and see which.
I won't argue with you. Sperlazza and Kenny Roth. I got no problem with that. Craig Sperlazza and Kenny Roth.
Both gentlemen on both sides of the ball have done an excellent job of fighting hard for their teams, but the Bruins are just going to come up short here, George, with 30 seconds and counting on a 17-14 short end of the straw. But you know, I know the Bruin fans aren't happy, but they've got to be awful proud of Coach Billard and his staff and the young men at the display and the game that they have put on here today on this ball field. The teams are starting to shake up as the clock's under 10.
A game of inches. You know how close they came to taking the lead right there. And I'll guarantee you that it takes a lot of blood, a lot of guts, and a little bit of luck to win 37 consecutive football games.
And give Coach Billiard the 100% award for going out there, George, on that 4th down call and feeling that his team has drove the ball down the field, and he put them in a position where they were going for the big win.
They coached from start to finish, these 2 guys. And Bellaire gets out of here with a very, very stressful victory. 17-14, your final score. So let's go ahead and see. Here's our players of the game, the Red Donnelly Scholarship in memory of our late comrade Red Donnelly, Craig Sperlazza, and Kenny Roth. Sacks for a sack this afternoon. I think we had, what, a couple, fellas? Check that in a second. We had 3 altogether, so that's a $150 as the 2 teams display some good sportsmanship. There was a lot of good sport. I'm sure there was a little trash talk out there, but there was also
done in the heat of the battle.
Good, clean football.
Yes. Yeah.
3 sacks, and that'll do it. All righty. For Ty Fleming, this is George Kellis. Your final score once again from Nelson Field in Bellaire. The Big Reds 17, the Bruins 14. You've been watching the game of the week on WTOV TV 9.